All right.
Do you want me to talk about the holdup, or do you want me to talk just my personal experience in the bank?
I want you to tell me, as best you can, about everything that happened the day that Dillinger robbed the bank, and all of your experiences related to the robbery itself.
All right.
But now I've left this run for one purpose. I just want us to just visit a little bit so I make sure I've got it loud enough so that I'm picking our conversation up.
Now you want me to begin?
Yeah, if you want to, and then we'll stop and go back and listen to
Well, a customer of the bank came in and had a $20 check and said he wanted 4 $5 bills. At just that time, I heard him say, "Oh, cut out the baby playing." And he left, went up towards the front of the bank, and some fellow was following him. I stood there, and someone had turned on the burglar alarm. We had a burglar alarm outside, and you'd touch a button that we had hidden, or you could touch it off with your foot, pulling up a little rod. And I thought, oh, why don't someone turn the alarm off? Looking across on the other side, I saw a man holding something that looked like a gun, or short little gun, and 2 of the men were holding their hands up in the air. Well, I don't know just exactly how it happened, but we had our regular cages that, of course, they don't use those now, and the doors closed, and all of a sudden the man come in and with his right elbow shoved me aside and started to pick up out the money in the money drawer. And then our cages or counters was on the order, or you might say capital L, with the bottom of the L, or the working counter where the money came in from through the windows. He seemed to know just where we kept our sort of, I might say, reserve money, because when we had $500 of 5s, 10s, or 20s, we put a strap around them. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to know that, and when he had picked this out, he said, "Is that all?" And I said, "Yep." And he had laid a revolver, his automatic revolver, on the counter. It was right aside of me when I was standing back of him. Then he turned with his back towards me, so I did not see his face. And he said, "Get up there in front and stand, no one will get hurt." So I went out and stood out there in front with quite a few of the other boys, and I saw tellers come and go. And I was going to go in the back for the rest of the crowd, but I thought, well, I'll stand right up here in front. If they're going to shoot, why, I might just well get it first rate. And during this time, one of the men, had got a hold of the head teller, and he was in a vault getting the money out of the safes that we had our money. Of course, we used to change off and have it on timer and change off back and forth, so that in case we were held up, they didn't get everything, although they did get $46,000. Then they came out, and Babyface Nelson, as it was, I had seen him jump up on the desk aside of the window, and I heard that, I guess you call them little Tommy guns or whatever they are, short guns, and I saw him shoot through the window, and he says, "I got that."
You got who?
Blankety-blank cop. And in a few minutes, we heard an ambulance come down, and somebody said they're picking up this police officer, that he was shot. Well, Babyface, then just about that time, this fellow came out from the regular vault and carrying a bag, and Babyface Nelson turned looking at the crowd, and he says, "Follow me." And we went out, and I saw a man coming from across the street towards this big Packard 7-passenger car, and they got in, and there were 4 girls and myself stood on the running boards, and they drove off. Up in the next block, they stopped, and some of us got off the running board, and one of the men shot up in the air and said, "Get back there on the running board." Well, later on, one of the men that was running the dry cleaning department, his name was Fred Best, came into the bank after it was all over, and he said, "I held my breath for a little while, Leo." He said, this hold-up man turned to you and pointed a gun right at you when you was off the running board, and I thought, here's where you get it. But I don't remember that at all, that part of it. Then we drove slowly up as far as 14th Street, from there over on Dakota Avenue and straight south, and we went crossing the railroad track. They slowed up, and there's a little dip on the Dakota Avenue, I think up on 20th Street. They slowed for that. Then further on, I don't remember just how far, they went over on Minnesota Avenue, and of course, so many years ago, 40 years ago, you wouldn't know Minnesota Avenue now. It's very few, but they stopped, I would say, perhaps near about 40th Street, and 2 of the men came out, and they had a bag, and they threw these little, you might call them not shingle nail, but they have a large head on them, so when they fell down, the sharp pointed stick up. And I said, "The girls are cold." So the men got in, said, "Come on in." So they come in, they took the girls in and slammed the door, and I said, "What about me?" And he said, "You're through." I thought, here's where I get it, but they drove off, and some man and a woman came along. They said they were from Canton. Their name was Anderson.